LinkedIn presents.
For all of us, it's about predicting where the consumer is going and getting half of it right.
One of the things we want to do is create ads that don't suck.
Embracing change creates great possibility.
I'm Alan Hart, and this is Marketing Today. Welcome back to Marketing Today Live. Today, we've got a special treat. We've got Joshua Hollin, or Josh, as I believe I'm going to call him today. He's a digital associate with Born This Way Foundation, where he executes digital content in service of the mission of building a kinder and braver world. In 2017, Josh initiated Channel Kindness Radio, a recurring podcast series featured on channelkindness.org, centered around the nonprofit organizations and people who are actively making a difference in their communities. He's graduated with his bachelor's in commercial music composition from Florida Atlantic University, and we're going to talk about his music aspirations here as we start the program. So, Josh, welcome to the show.
Hi, Alan. Thank you so much for having me, and hello to everybody tuning in. My name is Joshua Hollin. My pronouns are he, him, his. And as Alan mentioned, I am digital associate with Born This Way Foundation, where I get to really help tell the story of our work online and connect directly with our online community. So I'm so excited to be here, Alan. Thank you so much.
Well, before we start talking about Born This Way Foundation, it's a foundation founded by Lady Gaga and her mom, Cynthia Germanata. I'd love to talk about your own music ambition. You are a musician and an artist in your own right. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So in the moments when I'm not logged in and working to build a kinder and braver world online with Born This Way Foundation, I am working to build a kinder and braver world through my music. So as you mentioned, Alan, I'm also a musician, singer-songwriter based here in South Florida. And I'm actually currently releasing music under the moniker PAJAMAJOSH. We can unpack that name in a second. I'm sure people have a lot of questions about that. And my journey really began when I was really young. I grew up in a really musical family. My dad actually just retired and celebrated his 45-year-long career as a high school band and orchestra director and music educator. And I myself started writing and producing my own music when I was around 9 years old. And I just kind of always stuck with it. I'm also a classically trained upright bassist and studied it all through middle school, high school, and college at Florida Atlantic University, where I received my bachelor's in commercial music composition and was also the president of our two-time Latin Grammy-nominated record label, Hoop Wisdom Recordings. And recently in 2021, I was actually a contestant on season 4 of American Idol on ABC, where I earned a golden ticket to Hollywood. And most recently, have been working on my debut album, which will be titled Wired, and is all about social media, technology, mental health. And the first single, Too Many Tabs, which is currently available on all music platforms, is a song that I wrote at a time in my life when I myself was really struggling with my own mental health. I don't know, Alan, if you've ever had that feeling when you've had just one too many tabs open, both on your computer and also in your brain, to the point where it's kind of like system overload and you crash like a computer. So that's a little bit what the song is about, a little bit about my journey in music. And at Born This Way Foundation, we actually partnered with this incredible organization called Find Your Anchor. And we often speak about anchors, which is really anything that keeps you grounded moment to moment, day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. And it really is something that gives your life purpose. So my anchor has always been music. It's something that has always been near and dear to my heart. And I definitely wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for music.
Well, I love it. I love it. I have to ask, Pajama Josh, what is that?
Quite the name. I was in college and I wasn't really the kind of student that would like go out and party. I kind of would just stay in my dorm room, throw on my white robe and make music. And that sense of freedom when I put on my white robe is kind of similar to how I want people to feel when they hear my music. You know, just people that are comfortable in their skin, who just want to feel free. So that quality is what I really hope to give people when they hear my music. It's a name. My parents don't really get it, but it hopefully will grow on people. I think it helps me stand out. So that's a little bit of the story behind it.
Well, I've seen you on social media, and the music that you're putting out is phenomenal. Your voice is amazing. So I would encourage everyone to check you out. So
Thank you
If
so
you're
much.
not, if you're not already, follow at PAJAMAJOSH.
Yes, I'll follow that.
That's amazing. Well, how did you come to work for Born This Way Foundation? Where did that start?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking, Alan. So my journey with Born This Way Foundation was really born also out of my dorm room in college. I had been following Born This Way Foundation's work since it launched in Harvard back in 2012. Fast forward about 5 or so years in 2017, I was scrolling on Twitter, of all places, and came across a tweet inviting young people to share our own stories of kindness, bravery, and resilience in our own communities. And it's not that positive things weren't happening in the world around us. It's just that not many people were sharing about the positive things nearly as much as the negative stories in the media. And there's kind of been this narrative over like the past few years that young people are lazy or apathetic or sort of like indifferent to the world around us. And we know from our work at Born This Way Foundation that this could not be further from the truth. Young people are empowered, young people are resilient, extremely creative. So Born This Way Foundation launched an online youth storytelling platform called Channel Kindness, and you can check it out at channelkindness.org. And I basically ended up being selected as one of 50 young people in the first cohort of authors for the site. And as you mentioned at the beginning, Alan, I started my own podcast called Channel Kindness Radio, where I would interview local nonprofits out of the conference center in my college dorm room. So we also have a New York Times best-selling book titled Channel Kindness, Stories of Kindness in Community, which features some personal essays from our co-founder, Lady Gaga, as well as stories from some of the young authors that have submitted stories on channelkindness.org, including mine, actually. So that's really where my journey with Born This Way Foundation started. And I just kind of always kept in touch. And eventually landed my current position as a digital associate with Born This Way Foundation, where I get to connect with young people with our programming, resources, and really amplify their voices online.
Yeah, I love it. What was the spark behind the foundation? Like, why was it founded?
Yeah, great question. So Born This Way Foundation was founded in 2012 by Lady Gaga and her mother, Cynthia Germanata. And we support the mental health of young people and work with them to build a kinder and braver world. We work to promote the mental health and wellness of youth by, 1, making kindness cool, 2, validating the emotions of young people around the world, and 3, eliminating the stigma surrounding mental health. And Born This Way Foundation focuses on modeling healthy conversations about mental health, connecting young people with the resources and services online and offline, and building communities that really understand, prioritize, and foster good mental health. We actually recently celebrated, Alan, 11 years, our 11-year anniversary back in March. And every year I'm just so impressed with all the different ways that we've brought our mission to reality. There are a couple programs actually that I'm really excited to share with everyone tuning in today. The first of which is something called the Be There Certificate. And the Be There Certificate is a free online mental health course that we created in collaboration with a really great Canadian organization called jack.org. And it is a free online mental health course that is available in 3 different languages: English, French, and Spanish. And Alan, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where maybe you had a friend or loved one who was struggling with their mental health, and maybe you didn't know what to say or how to approach it or navigate it. But I've certainly been there. And what's so great about the Be There Certificate is that it provides a really wonderful framework called the 5 Golden Rules, which explains how to be there for someone who might be struggling, or yourself who might be struggling. And those 5 Golden Rules are: 1, say what you see; 2, show that you care; 3, hear them out; 4, know your role; and then 5, which is connect them to help. So the program, it really takes you through a series of videos, interactive examples, modules that really help you better understand how to be there for yourself and others. And I know that we're streaming on LinkedIn right now. So after you complete the program, you can earn a certificate, which you can add to your LinkedIn profile, print it out, put it on your mom's fridge. I actually have mine framed.
I love that. I love that.
Just because I'm a little extra, but you can earn your certificate at BeThereCertificate.org. And another program I'm really excited to share with you about today, Alan, is Born This Way Foundation's new digital kindness platform, which is called Be Kind 365.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I know with Be Kind 365, you're also partnering with a number of different organizations and looking for more partners, I believe. So tell us about the program and how partners can work with you. Because we're marketing today. There's a lot of marketers that are listening to this and will listen to it on replay or in the podcast itself. So
Absolutely. And thank you so much for letting me share about it. So every year since 2018, Born This Way Foundation has hosted a global kindness movement known as Be Kind 21, which calls on participants to practice an act of kindness each day from September 1st to September 21st with the mission of building kinder, more connected communities that foster mental wellness. And Be Kind 21 was a huge success. We mobilized more than 1,000 nonprofit organizations, businesses, and school districts and spurred over 291 million pledged acts of kindness since 2018. And so this year, Born This Way Foundation is so excited to keep this momentum going all year round through the creation of this new digital platform, Be Kind 365. So a lot of you might be wondering, well, what is Be Kind 365? Be Kind 365 is an invitation to build kindness into your life every day, wherever you are and whenever you can. And the Be Kind 365 platform is really designed to engage, excite, and inspire kindness 24/7, 365 through a series of really exciting and innovative digital components and activations. And one of the things that I want to mention, Alan, that makes this platform so special is that it was built both by and for young people. We have an advisory board made up of young people all over the world who really had a hand in the creation of the site, from the bright colors to the early video game sort of nostalgia of the site. We really wanted something that felt approachable. So some of the features of the site include the GPS, which stands for Gratitude Postal Service. And here, users can choose to send e-cards with messages of kindness and gratitude to their friends and loved ones, and also share these messages to social media. Personally, I try not to have favorites on the site, but I would say that my favorite feature of the site is our kindness generator, which basically shuffles a Born This Way Foundation curated list of over 365 plus kind act suggestions and recommends users a new kind act each day that they use it. And there have been some days where, it happens. We catch ourselves kind of getting stuck in a day-to-day routine. I'm not always thinking about, how can I take care of myself, or how can I be, an agent of change in my community. So this is a tool that really helps you practice intentional kindness. And also, and I won't share about, for the sake of time, all of the different features on the site, but one more that I'm super excited to share is something called the Kind Connector, which is an interactive globe that displays how all of our collective acts of kindness come together to build a kinder and braver world. So those are just a few of the features on the site. Be Kind 365, it is a year-round platform and program encouraging intentional kindness across the globe. And our goal is for every participant of Be Kind 365 to experience the transformational power of kindness and to engage people at every level. So at the corporate level, nonprofits, schools, and individuals. And together, we are building this kinder and braver world. And one additional thing I want to mention before I talk a little bit about partners and how they can get involved. Is that Be Kind 365 is really grounded in our research. So Born This Way Foundation's Kindness in Action report shows that most young people say experiencing more kindness would improve their mental wellness, be it from others, themselves, or observed in the world around them. And in Born This Way Foundation's Kind Communities, a Bridge to Youth Mental Health and Wellness report, or mental wellness report, young people who describe their environments as kind are more likely to be mentally healthy. So that's true for high schools, colleges, and in the workplace. So we are so grateful to all of our Be Kind 365 partners. Our partners are invited to engage their community in many different and exciting ways through the features on the site. And we've actually brought some of these features to life with some of these partners. For example, we had an in-store activation as a nod to the Gratitude Postal Service, where we took the GPS cards and actually brought them to life, where people could write messages of kindness and affirmation to their friends and loved ones. As a nod to the kindness generator, we made a bunch of cards with random acts of kindness that people could put in their wallets and pass out to their friends. We also have many different toolkits that we can share. One being our school's toolkit, where people can print out calendars with kindness suggestions on them, posters, and just so much more. So the thing that really makes it so, I think, impactful is that it can really be adapted and customized to really any setting. And we're about 12 weeks into the campaign, and we've hit over 100 participating countries, over 47,000 participants, and over 17 million pledged acts of kindness. So I'd love to just take a minute to invite everyone listening to join the movement at bekind365.world. It's a really fun and engaging platform, and I would just love for everyone to be a part of it.
No, I love it. I love it. And we all need more kindness in our lives and in the world, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned, the fact that mental health came up early on, and we had a comment from one of the listeners out there, Amanda Green, who was saying she loved the too many tabs.
Thank you, Amanda.
Which I do as well. I mean, it's a great analogy. We can all think about that, how we get so busy in our lives. But last month was Mental Health Awareness Month. It's a special month for me as well. Like I grew up with a dad that suffered from bipolar disorder. And he's a great dad, but was challenged from time to time. And I think we just need to be able to be more empathetic to those folks, support them, like all the ways that you've talked about previously. And I'm curious, like how, I know you've got the Be Kind 365, but you're also, working on mental health as well. And I'm curious if you guys had a focus last month, and then I want to talk about this month as well. It's also a special month.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much, Alan, for your vulnerability in sharing that. Really appreciate that. And so May was Mental Health Awareness Month. And in May, the US Surgeon General released basically an advisory warning the public about the impact of social media usage on youth mental health. And as a young person myself, I've felt the tremendous impact that social media can have on all of our lives. And it's impossible to ignore the many negative corners of the internet that exist and are, of course, taking a heavy toll on young people and their mental health right now. And at Born This Way Foundation, we always put the perspectives of young people first. And what we've learned from our conversations with young people is that their generation, I guess I can say our generation, I guess I'm still technically young, they really want to build safe spaces where they can support themselves and each other. So by launching Be Kind 365, we're connecting with young people with supportive resources that can help them incorporate intentional kindness into their everyday lives in an intentional and accessible way. During Mental Health Awareness Month specifically, we wanted young people to know that there are accessible and inclusive mental health resources available to them wherever they are and whenever they need them. I mentioned a little bit earlier in the call the Be There certificate, which is an incredible resource. I also touched a little bit on our Channel Kindness platform. I can speak a little bit more to that. So Channel Kindness is a platform that invites everyone to put compassion into action through the power of storytelling. So with the help of our incredible full-time editors, the platform really helps inspire us all to share these stories of kindness and resilience in community, and really provides ways that young people can take action in support of causes they care about. And also our efforts to create and foster kind, caring communities online and offline, of course, extend far beyond Mental Health Awareness Month, right? Mental Health Awareness Month is 1 month. But mental health should be taken seriously every month. So we work year round with our Born This Way Foundation advisory board members to ensure that all of our programming and initiatives are accessible, inclusive, and just relevant to the youth today. So our 2023 advisory board is made up of 31 incredible young people. They are so cool. We had a call with them yesterday, ages 15 to 24, and they are actively making a difference in their communities around the globe. And they provide input on our programs and initiatives, and really help to spread the word about our work and serve as a sounding board for new ideas. So we also work to amplify their individual work as leading mental health advocates in their own respective communities as well.
I love that. And to your point, mental health is something that is important to focus on every day, every month of the year. It is really something that I think we as a society need to take more seriously, to be honest. I know, and it's there's many different organizations, but I know when I was growing up and with my dad, there's also stigma right? That comes with it that we really need to shed. We have to get that off. Mental health is health.
Yes.
There's no difference. And
It's so true.
yeah,
It's so true. Like when someone like has like a broken arm or, some sort of physical ailment, they'll go to the doctor right away. But with mental health, it's not always the first thing that people check out. So it's so true.
Right. I agree. Well, this month is Pride Month, and I see the foundation is playing an active role also in supporting the LGBTQ plus community. Would love to know what you guys are doing, how you're working with that community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And happy Pride to everybody watching. So Born This Way Foundation has also teamed up with Centrelink, which is an international network that strengthens LGBTQ plus community-based organizations to contribute $250,000 to a carefully selected group of LGBTQ plus community centers across the US. These local organizations will be selected by Centrelink through an application process in the regions and states where LGBTQ plus youth are facing discrimination and difficulties due to local legislation. The funds will be directly distributed to the local LGBTQ plus centers selected, which provide crucial services such as counseling, healthcare, and education to LGBTQ plus youth, while also advocating for their rights and inclusive policies. And together, Born This Way Foundation, Centrelink, and these local partner organizations really aim to create a lasting and meaningful impact in the lives of LGBTQ plus youth, promoting inclusivity and standing against legislative threats. When people donate to this Pride Fund, Alan, they will support local organizations that serve as sanctuaries, provide essential resources such as housing, food, and gender-affirming clothing, and actively advocate against discriminatory policies and for policies that reflect the kinder and braver world that Born This Way Foundation aims to build. So listeners can visit bornthisway.foundation/Pride 2023 to donate to the Pride Fund.
I love it.
One additional thing I just want to mention, we also at Born This Way Foundation recently put out research, a report called Kind Communities Perspectives from LGBTQ plus Young People. And there's a quote that I would actually love to share from one of our advisory board members, Desmond, who uses they, them pronouns. This is a quote from them. They say, quote, "Having access to free and accessible mental health resources has been a lifeline for me and many of my queer friends. Online support groups, therapy, journaling, and informative articles have helped me develop coping strategies and maintain my well-being, especially amid the threatening anti-LGBTQ plus legislation." So I just wanted to share that. There's incredible findings in this report that I think people will really find informative.
Well, the one thing I love about the foundation, the Born This Way Foundation, and what you guys are doing is, at the end of the day, all of the work that you're doing is so human.
Yes.
Right? It's focused on kindness. It's focused on empathy. It's focused on supporting individuals in the most human way possible. We're all human at the end of the day, and we need to be kinder to each other and respect all of our relative differences as well. So I just want to say that you guys are doing phenomenal work, and I'm really happy to have you on the show today and give you the microphone.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Well, one of the things we love to do, well, before I go there, let's talk a little bit more about like how you've got this phenomenal foundation. You've got all of this work that you're doing.
Right.
You're now speaking to a collective group of marketers and companies. Is there a way that companies can get involved in any respect or way? Like, how would you give them advice on how either gets involved with you and the foundation and the work you're doing, or just in general, how they support the causes that you're doing?
Thank you for asking that question, Alan. We invite truly all companies to join us in taking the Be There certificate to help increase mental health literacy by teaching people how to recognize when someone might be struggling, understand their role in supporting that person, right? That was one of the 5 golden rules to know your role, and learn how to connect them to the help that they need. We also invite anyone who's interested in earning the Be There certificate to visit betherecertificate.org, as I mentioned. And again, once you complete the course, it takes a little under 90 minutes to complete, and you will receive a certificate for completion. We also encourage other companies to participate and join the movement for Be Kind 365 with their loved ones, and really join the movement to share intentional kindness across the globe. Our goal with Be Kind 365 is that every person can experience the transformational power of kindness and really engage people at every level. So I would say those are two great ways to really get engaged with our work.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things we like to do on this show is to also get to know you even a little bit better. We know you've got this aspiring musical career that's about to take off. If you're thinking back about it, one of my favorite questions to ask everyone that comes on the show is, has there been an experience of your past that defines or makes up who you are today?
Wow. What a thought-provoking question, Alan. And thank you for asking it. So much of my work at Born This Way Foundation is a huge part of my personal identity. But one example that I think really defines my spirit would probably have to be my American Idol audition. I've spoken about my audition on my social media before, but to anyone that's listening, this audition was truly like a scene out of a movie. I mean, you really could not have written it. And it actually never aired. If you watch back to season 4 of the show, episode 6, you'll catch a couple of glimpses of me in the background. But in my initial audition in front of the judges, I was so nervous. As a young person, it can be really scary sometimes to follow your dreams. And I walked in dressed up. I had on, this black suit with some like ridiculous like David Bowie eye makeup, and the judges really challenged me to come back later in the day and show them a much more vulnerable side without all of that. And that was something that was really challenging for me to do. I had to really dig deep that day, but I did it, and I made it through and got the golden ticket. And eventually, of course, I was eliminated on the show. Every person on a singing competition show gets eliminated eventually, right? But one person at the end. But it really taught me that I was much stronger than what I realized, but it also taught me to persevere in the face of rejection, right? Which we all know is inevitable on any journey to success. So that's one, people often joke on social media, like your villain origin story. I would say that this was kind of like my hero origin story, if you will. So yeah, that was a very formative moment in my life, I would say.
I love that. I love that story. And I mean, there's so much spillover to marketing and marketing leaders. You're not going to get the job every time, right? And you need to be prepared for that. But those types of experiences do definitely shape us for sure. Well, you're a young guy, so I don't know how this question is going to land. But the question I always ask people that come on is like, what advice would you give your younger self if you were starting this journey all over again?
I love this question. And it's one that my therapist often asks me when talking about like your inner child. So I love it. If there's any advice I would tell my younger self, it would be to not sweat the small stuff, and that the world is much bigger than this moment. And this is actually advice that my dad has given me before. And it's funny. There's this picture, if you Google it, that NASA published that shows like the entire galaxy of planets and stars. And I remember I went to my dad about like some really minor problem in hindsight that I was having. And he just sends me this picture of like all these planets and stars. And it just reminded me that life is so much greater than one event, 1 second, one minor inconvenience. So I think that my younger self would really gain a lot from that visual. So that if I could show my younger self that, I would have that conversation with him.
I love that. I love that. And most of the time we're on this show talking about marketing. So curious if there's a topic either you're trying to learn more about within the marketing space, or maybe just in general, or something you think marketers need to be learning more about.
Yeah, definitely. I think that like with the rise of AI, like it's such a hot topic right now. And I think that it can feel really intimidating and scary, right? Like I think that those feelings are completely valid, but also like these tools aren't really going anywhere. So I think that as marketers, getting out of our own comfort zones and trying things and finding productive ways to incorporate these tools in our everyday lives is crucial. But also on the flip side, Alan, as you mentioned, I think towards the front half of this call, I think that the human element of marketing and the emotional connection that one feels to a brand, a product, or messaging also isn't going anywhere. So I think that finding ways to use these tools in ways that feel authentic is the real challenge. So it's really all in how you use it. Just one example I'll give is there's all these videos I've seen on TikTok where photo editors are using AI in tandem with Photoshop and can basically type in any prompt in Photoshop if you want to remove a plant from a photo, or if you want to like be at the Turks and Caicos, like when you're really like at a restaurant. Like it's great because it really allows marketers, it gives us more time to really think productively and strategically, and kind of takes away some of those more tedious tasks. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
I love it. I love it. Well, are there any trends or subcultures that you follow or you think other people should be taking notice of?
Trends or subcultures? I'm a huge fan of TikTok. I know that a lot of brands or organizations are either on it or aren't on it for a variety of reasons, but TikTok, I think, is really unlike any platform that I've seen in my now 26 years on this planet, where really anyone can go viral these days and be seen really with or without an existing following or budget built in. And there's so many different trends on TikTok and micro communities who participate in these trends. And so finding what I would call like these points of intersection. So using these different trends and features on the platform to share what you represent and what your brand represents, I think offers infinite potential. So for example, if you're a nonprofit, maybe you would duet a clip of someone speaking about something that resonates with you or your organization and offer maybe additional context or value. If you're a musician like me, maybe you take a trending sound and you put your own spin on it, flip it on its head, like give it a new genre or feel. So I think that the possibilities are just really endless in terms of reach, and the potential on TikTok, I just think is through the roof.
I love that. I love that. Well, the last question I always ask everyone is, what do you think is the largest opportunity or threat facing marketers today?
Largest opportunity or threat? I think that the largest opportunity would have to be social media at large, but specifically TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. And I think that the greatest threat to marketers today is not using the tools that are available to you to reach your organization or brand's fullest potential. There are so many creative, innovative ways to reach people these days. And I think it can be really also too easy to get discouraged, right? Especially, as marketers, we're constantly looking at numbers and statistics and performance all day. But I think a lot of the success that I've seen on social media comes from a lot of trial and error, right? Finding what works, what doesn't, repurposing old content. I've seen a lot of people post maybe the same video multiple times, but with slightly different hooks at the beginning to see what lands. So it's a really interesting strategy. So I would say another threat is focusing too much on things like likes and followers, and when I think the focus should be on social listening and really building community.
I love that. I love that. Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming on the show, illuminating us to what Born This Way Foundation is doing, all the great work among kindness, mental health, the LGBTQ plus community. You guys are just doing a tremendous amount. I want to give you this opportunity to make sure we can engage more people and hopefully open up even more opportunities for partnership in the future. So thank you.
Alan, thank you so much for having me on today. If anyone wants to keep in touch with Born This Way Foundation and our work, you can follow us at BTW Foundation on all platforms except for Facebook, which is Born This Way Foundation. Facebook.com/Born This Way Foundation. And again, Alan, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure getting to know you today, and just thank you so much for your time.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Hi, it's Alan again. Marketing Today was created and produced by me with post-production support from Sam Robertson. If you're new to Marketing Today, please feel free to write us a review on iTunes or your favorite listening platform. Don't forget to subscribe on marketingtodaypodcast.com. Tell your friends and colleagues about the show. I love hearing from listeners. You can contact me at marketingtodaypodcast.com. There you'll also find complete show notes and links to what was discussed in the episode today, and you can search our archives. I'm Alan Hart, and this